All right, let's just jump right in. We live in a world that is completely obsessed with the hustle, right? With making 5-year plans, with trying to control every single outcome. But what if all that struggle, all that effort, is actually the problem? Today, we're going to explore a philosophy that says maybe the best way to live is to just stop fighting and surrender to the way of nature.
I mean, you've been there, right? We've all been there. You map out the perfect career move. You try with all your might to fix a broken relationship. You pour every ounce of your energy into a project, and it just completely falls apart. It feels like you're pushing this giant boulder up a hill, and the second you blink, it rolls right back down and flattens you. It's such a common human frustration.
So, what's the alternative to all that struggle? Well, this philosophy we're looking at today puts it pretty bluntly. All this intense effort we put into directing and controlling our lives, it's not just exhausting, it's totally unnecessary. And the solution it offers is simple. Stop fighting. Just surrender. But what does that actually look like in real life? Well, it all starts with this first huge principle, a radical, total acceptance of your reality. Now, this isn't about being passive or just giving up. It's about a deeper understanding that your life, right here, right now, is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And this really gets to the heart of what acceptance means here. The core idea is that whatever shows up in your life, well, it was always meant to. If something's for you, it'll find you, and if it's not, no amount of kicking and screaming is going to make it yours. So the practice becomes pretty straightforward. When good stuff happens, you soak it in, you enjoy it. When suffering comes, you bear it, knowing that it too is part of this grand arrangement. The real goal is to move through life with all the worry, the complaining, and the anger. This leads to the next step, which is just so important, letting go of envy. The whole idea here is that every single person's path is unique and has its own purpose. One person might be destined for this big, earth-shaking life of power and influence. Another might be destined for a simple life of quiet contemplation. One person gets the villas and luxury cars, the other gets the bright moons and gentle breezes. The point isn't that one is better than the other, not at all. It's that they are different, and each path is exactly right for the person walking it. Okay, so that's the mindset of acceptance. But what about actually doing things? How do we live and work and interact with the world without trying to bend everything to our will? The way this is explained is through a series of just brilliant, down-to-earth analogies. First up, this one. It's so simple, right? A rooster doesn't lay eggs. That's just not what it does. To demand it is to go against its basic nature. It's a powerful reminder not to ask things from people or from situations that they simply aren't built to give. And here's the next one. This is all about knowing and, more importantly, respecting limits, both in yourself and in everything around you. Every person, every project, every system has a certain capacity. If you try to push past that, you don't get more success, you just get a total breakdown. And this third analogy really brings it all home. Bamboo is amazing. It's strong, it's flexible, it sways in the wind, but it doesn't grow dates. And getting angry at it for not growing dates would be ridiculous. The lesson is to appreciate things for exactly what they are, not for what you wish they were. So what it all boils down to is this: act within your own capabilities. Now, this isn't about thinking small or limiting yourself. It's about being smart and realistic. Know what tools you have, know what your strengths are, and don't take on challenges you are fundamentally not equipped to handle. It's about being effective, not just being ambitious for the sake of it. All right, now let's get to the really big idea here, the why behind all of this. Because to truly accept reality and act without force, you have to kind of buy into the idea that there's a larger order to everything, a grand design. To explain this, the philosophy uses this incredible example from nature, the beehive. Think about it. No bee campaigns to become queen. No worker bee tries to scheme its way into being a drone. Each one is born into its role. And because every bee does its job without fighting it, the whole hive works in this perfect, intricate harmony. The suggestion here is that maybe human society works under a similar kind of prearranged order. This leads to a really interesting take on a word we all know, karma. But here, it's not some vague, mystical force. It's described as something much more like a cosmic computer program. Your past thoughts, your words, your actions, that's the input. And your reality today, that's the output. It's a direct, almost mathematical system of cause and effect that charts your path. And that brings us right back to a core theme. If life is this orderly program, then trying to grab onto a piece of it and clutch it tight is just pointless.
The examples given are things like parents who try to force their kids into a certain career, or rulers who try to guarantee their dynasty lasts forever. The more you try to control something, the more certain you are to lose it. It just slips right through your fingers. But, and this is a big but, there's one place where this philosophy says you do have complete and total freedom: your imagination. And it makes a really key distinction. Motivation, that's the desire to actually do something in the world, that gets fed into the karmic program. But pure imagination, just fantasizing in your own head for your own entertainment, that has zero consequence. It's like a free zone where you can be anyone, do anything, and it doesn't affect the grand design one bit. So when you put it all together, you're left with this very stark choice. It's like two paths are laid out in front of you. On one path, you follow nature. You accept, you act without forcing, you trust the design. The result? Harmony, happiness, and what's called a reward from Tao. But on the other path, you violate nature, you fight, you try to control everything, you make demands, and the result of that is disorder, conflict, anxiety, and disaster. And that leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. Our whole modern culture tells us that freedom is about having limitless options, about being the sole author of your own story. But this philosophy flips that completely on its head. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, true freedom isn't found in having endless choices, but in the peaceful, perfect acceptance of a path that was already laid out for you. It's a wild thought, right? What do you think?